Good morning, hunters of the night, or whenever you watch this video. I'm having a great morning. So the Castlevania Nocturne trailer, main trailer, just dropped yesterday, and it's just oozing Castlevania. I mean, you've got the Divine Bloodlines remix, you've got a ton of action-packed vampire slaying, and then you've got hot lady getting squished. So last video, I kind of cucked you guys with putting Richter at the end. This time, I'm not doing that. We're going to start off with Richter. Richter is here at the start. And he's just absolutely coming off this is my show. This is my home. Die, monster. You don't belong in this world. You can just tell he's exuding power. I mean, in the show, you see him using his, Flame Whip, which was, his item crash if he didn't have a subclass weapon equipped. And it's just really, really cool to see that from Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night. You also get to see another kind of item crash nod, which is when he was throwing a bunch of those throwing knives into the vampire, similar to in Rondo of Blood. It's just a crazy slaughter of throwing knives. It was so cool. And this is just a trailer. Imagine all of the game nods and Easter eggs we're gonna get to see when the show comes out. It's kind of like in the original Castlevania show, when we got to see Leon Belmont. I was like, that's my boy! That's him! Lament of Innocence, that's him! And we are really getting to see Richter in his prime. I mean, he's just effortlessly using magic, dropping monologues and one-liners. And I mean, it really just feels like how I envisioned Richter. The cocky asshole who walks the walk and talks the talk. Now, Edward Blumenauer does a really, really good job of following Richard Armitage's lead for Richter. Because, Richter's voice isn't quite as, gravelly as Trevor's was, but it's still, what's the word I'm looking for? He just kind of sounds like how a Belmont should sound like. They all still kind of sound pretty similar. The confidence that I talked about in the confirmed voice actors video that I did is just totally all there. I mean, it's being played so well with all of the main leads. But Mr. Blumenauer does a very, very good job of, damn right, I'm the best there ever was and ever will be kind of vibe. I'm loving it. Now, speaking of Trevor, the contrast between Richter and Trevor is absolutely glaring. Trevor had kind of just given up hope, but we see through his whole character arc that Alucard and Sypha had really built back up his character and turned him into the best man that he could possibly be, even if he's a wisecracking asshole, which, hey, shout out to Trevor, man, that's my boy. But here in just the trailer of this show, you can tell who Richter wants to be. You can see his, anger. You can see all of his determination and his need to just absolutely get rid of the vampires and get his vengeance on OLRAX. He is going to be eradicating all the vampires and look damn right delicious doing so. Also, surprisingly, we didn't see Olrox in this video at all. I mean, I could be looking into this too much, but it seems to me that Olrox maybe isn't in service to the Vampire Messiah, or at least he's playing the game in order to get more power, because in the video games he was obsessed with the power of chaos and Dracula's power, because that's not to go too deep into it, but that's what Dracula's power is. It's chaos. But for sure, this trailer, the main trailer, is a complete turnaround from the dark and depressing mood that the teaser trailer had. About my only complaint, and it's not really even a complaint, it's just when Richter ties his headband around him, he gives the hardest blue steel handsome Squidward look, and it just seemed a little goofy to me. I'm all about it. I love it. I think it's I'm so excited that we get to see the Richter headband look. We might get the Symphony of the Night look in the later seasons with the long hair, long coat, even more of an asshole, but he's probably being possessed by Shaft. Anyway, we'll get into that later. We did also get to see some of the other main leads, but the main one that I want to focus on right now is Marie Renard. We finally got to see our girl done some really good justice, especially with the Rondo of Blood design with the longer hair instead of the is it a bob? No, it's not a bob. I don't know, the shorter hair. But she's just dancing and spinning her way to victory, and she just looks so damn powerful using her nature magic and her beast summons to just plow through the vampiric horde. It also really feels like she's going to be the main balance to Richter in the show, and by that I mean how Sypha was Trevor's main balance. Marie Renard is going to be the lighthearted, cracking jokes, trying to the adventurous spirit that Sypha had, and Trevor was just I just need beer. But that's not me downplaying her character or just how powerful Marie Renard actually is. She's like Omega level threat, and honestly, if you wanted to beat Rondo of Blood easier, just use Marie Renard. Like, she can attack and sends out like 2 attacks with her doves or whatever they are. It's so much easier than using Richter. But like, hey, you gotta play Richter. We also get to see about half of Marie Renard's arsenal, and by that I mean like her 4 celestial beasts that she can summon. So she's got 4. She's got a turtle, cat, phoenix. I think the wiki says cardinal, but I'm pretty sure they're like phoenixes, and then the dragon. So of course in the trailer we got to see the phoenix, and we got to see like the divine cat that she sends out, and I'll like throw those up so that it makes a little bit more sense. But yeah, like, she is so powerful. And it looks like she's just having a good time. You know, they're obviously fighting the army of the night, but she's like spinning, she's dancing, she's doing all these moves, and it just feels like how she would be in the game. And I super appreciate that. I'm really happy that she's getting to have some of the spotlight put on her. As for Annette and Tara, I don't really have too much to talk about with them, but for Annette, it looks like she uses some kind of like elemental magic. Like, you can see her summoning swords out of the ground, it seems like. And when she squishes, you know, Hot Vampire Lady, it looks like she used like some kind of like air magic. I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming that she's gonna be like the elemental, whereas Marie is kind of like summoning beast magic, if that kind of like gives them some distinction, I guess. It's pretty cool. I really love Annette's design, but there's just not too much to come from the trailer right here. Same thing for Tara. Like, we see her in a few shots, but not much to comment on. But like, I don't know, I don't really have anything else to say about it. But let's move on to our villains, our absolute baddies. I'm so excited for this part. So, the hot pink purple vampire lady, oh my god. It's not confirmed yet, but it looks like it's steering in that direction, that this is Drolta. Now, Drolta in the games, I think it was Bloodlines, like with John Morris and Eric Lucard. That one, she was like a ritual hag, and she was like old, decrepit. You didn't see her very much. I think she was like, where did you see her in that game? I don't even remember. I'm pretty sure she was like she was mainly in like the game manual or something like that. I think I read like a Reddit post that she was like mostly in the game manual. But anyway, this is like the vampire messiah's servant. This is like her lieutenant, even more so than Olrox would be. So Drolta, this is like the vampire lady that I'm 10 billion just 10 billion% a simp for. I'm losing my words because I get like so excited about talking about her. She's my favorite design that has come out of the trailers. And like I said before, I haven't found like any big confirmations from Powerhouse Studios that this is who she is, but for what we know, she kind of really fits the bill, and it's just like the other characters, it's just a really big redesign and adaptation for the Castlevania Nocturne show. It kind of doesn't fit with the OG character's lore because, like I said, she was like a ritual hag, but in this one, like, you can tell in the trailer that Drolta is within like a bonfire, and you see all these other vampire servants, and she's branding them with some kind of ritual. And I'm gonna assume that that's like marking their forehead, showing that they are in service to the vampire messiah, and it probably has to do with some kind of spell that might be like confirmed later on, but that still kind of fits the bill for the OG game lore, and I'm all about it. I mean, it still just kind of fits the bill in a few places, but I'm kind of rambling. I can't help it. This chick, man, whew, you see her a lot through the trailer, and there's a couple glimpses we see where she looks completely different, so I'm kind of really leaning into that shapeshifter side of it. But like, you can really easily spot her from like her bright pink hair, the color scheme, the purple looks, all that kind of stuff. That might be like the animators telling the viewer that like, hey, this is this character, but like, the characters in the show might not be able to tell through some way. It's kind of like in JJK with like the Yuji Sukuna marks and everything. Like when Sukuna's eyes are, when Sukuna's not awake, then it's Yuji, but that's not in the manga. Like, the other characters can't tell. I think that's what like I'm trying to tell you. I'm using bad words. You know what I mean. Also, for some reason, I ended this section of my notes with just definitely serves. True. Listen, I am not in this show for Richter. I don't give a shit about the Vampire Messiah. You can brand me. Girl, I am here for you. Do bad things to me. Now, speaking of the Vampire Messiah, all roads are leading to Elizabeth Bartley, and Elizabeth Bartley is like the vampire niece of Count Dracula and everything, so it looks like what they're doing is mixing two characters from the game and real-life lore. Like, they have Marie Antoinette, and then they have Elizabeth Bartley, and it looks like they just kind of meshed them together, and that's what we're gonna get. I don't really have too much else to say on that. There's like the few bits and bobs we see of her, she looks really good. I like the design. She's giving like a mix between Lenore and Carmilla, so we'll see where that kind of goes. I do like what I've seen so far, but yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Elizabeth Bartley. I think I called it in my first Castlevania video. That's kind of like the path that I'm leading. If she's not going to be like, I'm pretty sure everyone's going to call her Marie Antoinette, but like who she is and the vampire she is Elizabeth Bartley. The last two parts of this video is going to be like questions that I had in the trailer that I think would be fun to like comment and discuss down below if you wanted to. And then the big ending is going to be a speculation kind of thing that I have for the rest of this show. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. I'm going to look down at my script. Question 1. Richter and the crew don't know what night creatures are. So there was a segment in the trailer where like they're looking at like these 4 or 5 like night creatures, and they had no idea what that is. So that to me is like, okay, why are vampire hunters not knowing what night creatures are? So there could be like a decline in the Belmont clan where like during Richter and Trevor's time there was plenty of monsters, but as time went on and years passed, less and less monsters showed up. So that's maybe what that is pointing to. I don't know for sure. Another question that I had is, leading off of the night creatures, how are the new vampire baddies getting night creatures? Because obviously they need like a Devil Forge Master. Are they just summoning through hell? Is there like a hell portal? That I don't know for sure. I'm trying to figure out a way that they could get around that, because Dracula's castle is kind of like a portal in its own. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. And what is going on with the eclipse? That was the last question. What is going on with the eclipse? There's been a lot of emphasis put in the trailers, and it's even in like the Castlevania logo, about this eclipse. Now, in the OG game lore, what was it? Aria of Sorrow, I think it was, with Soma Cruz. Dracula's castle was sealed in like the Chaos Realm through an eclipse. So it looks like maybe in the show, they're gonna try to like... I'm winging it here, man. I'm winging it. It looks like they're gonna try to draw on the realms of chaos with the eclipse, which tracks with a lot of the lore. Like Olrox, he was all about chaos. That's why he was so fascinated with humans, is that he wanted to have the power that Dracula had, and just the power of chaos. So I feel like that's all kind of like coming together, if that makes sense. But that was my last question, like what's going on with the eclipse? I know I kind of blah 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 blah, but you know what I mean. Okay, now for my big speculation. The biggest, I called it, even more so than Marie Antoinette. I think this show is going to start with an ending, and that ending being the death of Richter Belmont. I hate this. My boy Richter needs some love. He doesn't deserve this, but I do think that it's going to go out with Richter dying. So I think for the first episode, we're going to see a transfer of power. I think we're going to see Richter Belmont just briefly talking with the other Belmonts. Obviously, he's like the clan leader and everything, and that, bless you. You good? Don't look good. But I do think we're going to get to see Richter Belmont, probably only for the first episode. I think, obviously, he is like the current leader of the Belmont clan, and with his death, the passing of the torch goes to his daughter, Julia Belmont. And that's when I think the world will come crashing down around the Belmonts. Olrox, the lizard man himself, shows up after Richter Belmont dies. Because let's be totally honest here. Olrox doesn't stand a fucking ass hair's chance of beating Juste Belmont, so he waits for his death and then attacks the clan and just decimates them, killing everyone except for Richter. I mean, he really just did use like vampire evilness, waited for a moment to strike, and then did, and it just... that is going to be like the most vulnerable moment before like the transfer of power is complete. So yeah, that's like my biggest thing, is that Olrox is going to come in after Juste Belmont's death and then just wreck shop on the Belmont clan. Because let's be like, just backtracking, even old Juste could beat the brakes off of Olrox. There is no way in hell that Olrox could even just remotely make Juste Belmont sweat. But yeah, anyway, let me know what you think down below about that. I know I'm rambling, it's just I'm really excited to see Juste Belmont. I love Juste. Also, just to end the video, I wanted to point out that this guy like here briefly gets his own shots. I think this is one of our mystery characters, aka the Abbot, played by Richard Dormier. This guy just kind of looks like someone that Richard Dormier would play, and he has that like Crusader of the Church look, so I think that's gonna like lead into the Abbot. I could just be looking into it too much, but it feels weird that they would give him his own shot and him not mean anything. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm always happy to talk about Castlevania and would love to talk more in the comments below. You know, I hope y'all have a good few weeks until the show comes out.